All right, thank you guys. Happy Monday here to you, and welcome to our NBA video here today for Monday, April 12th. My name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. And despite another pretty rough day yesterday, we're still 4-2 in our last 6 board member tier package picks on my Patreon website. We're also still hitting at 63% in our last $16.99 daily best plays on that Patreon page as well. We currently have over 1,275 members who are signed up and active on that site. And if you want to see which one of these YouTube picks I'm actually betting on here personally, the link for that Patreon page is in the description section below. Once again, that is patreon.com/Brock Page. Hopefully you guys had yourself a great weekend. I'll tell you what, we're gonna do our best to get this new week started off right. And we're gonna start with the Lakers versus the Knicks, 7:30 p.m. Eastern start time. The Knicks are the 2-point favorite at home. Total's 205, juice to the under. And if you like the Lakers in an upset on the road here, they're plus $1.15 on the money line. And of course, in addition to the absence of AD and LeBron still, the Lakers role players have, they've been banged up as well here. Kuzma, Matthews, Gasol, they're all questionable for tonight's contest. And even at full strength, we're still looking at a Laker team who doesn't score a whole lot of points. They're in the bottom 10 in road scoring, bottom 3 in road free throw shooting. LA scoring just 108 points a night when they travel. They're taking on a Knicks team who's played very well at MSG this season. 16-10 straight up as the official home team. 62% against the number in those 26 contests. New York essentially has the best defensive play in the league. They lead the NBA defensively in points allowed. First in the association in defending the 3-ball as well. New York's also perfect 5-0 against the number in their last 5 straight. Julius Randle scoring 22 points a game, 10 rebounds, 6 assists for the forward. Meanwhile, RJ Barrett's dropping over 17.5 points a game himself, 5 rebounds, 3 assists for Randle. Now the Knicks hold their opponents to just 33% shooting from beyond the arc. And when it comes to the total in this one, this is a fairly, big over adjustment on the number here in my opinion. The Knicks also saw 3 out of their last 5 get over the line. 60% of the over in their last 10 meetings with Los Angeles. Meanwhile, the Lakers somehow saw their last 3 straight get over the total themselves. I'm going to lean toward the New York Knicks -2 and the over 205. Next ball game, Sixers Mavericks, 7:30 p.m. Eastern tip-off. The Philadelphia 76ers are the 2.5-point favorite. Total's 219 flat. Now, Philly's been playing some superb defense on the road this year. They're in the top 5 defensively in road points allowed. Top 5 in defensive rebounding on the road as well. The Sixers are allowed just 106 points a game when they travel. Joel Embiid scores over 29 points a game, 11 rebounds, 3 assists for the big man. Meanwhile, Tobias Harris is scoring over 20.5 points a game himself, 7 rebounds, 3 assists for Toby. The Sixers are in the top 5 in offensive rebounding in the NBA as well. They're just a all-around very good rebounding basketball team. Now they're taking on a Dallas squad who actually lost last night to San Antonio. They gave up 119 points to a struggling Spurs team. They also lost 2 out of their last 3, and that includes an embarrassing loss to Houston, where they scored just 93 total points. Now, Kleba and Terry, they're both listed as questionable for Dallas. They've also struggled to cover the number on their home court. Now, the Mavs have successfully covered the point spread in only 10 of 24 home games. Dallas also struggled in the rebounding department as well. They're in the bottom 10 in home offensive rebounding. I'm going to lean toward the Philadelphia 76ers -2.5 and the over 219. Next contest, Spurs Magic, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The San Antonio Spurs are -6.5 on the road. Totals 218. And despite playing some pretty bad basketball lately, San Antonio successfully covered the number in their last two straight. And they've also done a really nice job covering on the road. The Spurs are 15-7 against the spread away from their home court. Good for over 68% in that particular stat. San Antonio plays really good defense when they travel as well. Top 10 in points allowed on the road. Top 10 in defending the three ball on the road as well. DeMar DeRozan is scoring 21 points a game, 4 rebounds, 7 assists. Meanwhile, DeJounte Murray scoring 15 a night himself, 6 rebounds, 5 assists for the starting guard. They're taking on a pretty bad Orlando squad who lost their last 5 straight, and they currently find themselves 19 games below 500. Now, the Magic's played fairly poor at home this season, winners of just 10 out of 28 home games. Their biggest problem is their inability to score. They're dead last in offensive field goal percentage, bottom 3 in scoring on average per contest. The Magic's been averaging only 104 points a game. Now, Porter, Maine, and Okike, they are all questionable for today's game. And when it comes to the number in this one, 4 out of Orlando's last 6 did get over the posted total, 60% to the over in their last 10. Meanwhile, the Spurs saw their last 2 straight get over the line themselves, 7-2 to the over in their last 9. I'm going to lean toward the San Antonio Spurs minus 6.5 and the over 218. Next contest, Nets, T-Wolves, 8 o'clock East. The Brooklyn Nets are minus 6, totals 236 flat. Now, Irving, Aldridge, and Harden, they're all out for the Nets here today. Brooklyn's also covering just 50% of their ball games on the road. Now, the Nets have failed to cover the point spread in 7 out of their last 9 ball games. And believe it or not, they're actually one of the worst teams defensively in the NBA. They're in the bottom 3 defensively in road points allowed. Brooklyn allows over 118 points a game when they travel. Now, they're taking on a Minnesota squad who, despite their struggles this year, they've actually done a pretty good job covering the point spread lately. Minnesota's 6-4 against the spread in their last 10 ball games. Good for 60% in that category. They've also scored 113 points or more in their last 5 straight contests. Karl Anthony Towns is dropping 25 points a night, 11 boards, 4 assists for the center. Meanwhile, D'Angelo Russell is scoring 20 points a game himself, 2 rebounds, 5 assists for Russell. The Timberwolves actually rank in the top 3 in the NBA in fourth quarter scoring. And when it comes to the total in this one, Minnesota's last 3 straight got over the line, 6-4 to the over in their last 10 meetings with Brooklyn. Meanwhile, the Nets saw their last 3 straight get over the total themselves, 16-8 to the over when they travel. I'm going to lean toward the underdog Minnesota Timberwolves, plus 6, keeping this one close, and the over 236. Next contest, we're going to take a look at the Wizards versus the Jazz, 9 p.m. Eastern tip-off. The Utah Jazz are minus 11.5. Total's 235, juice to the under. Despite being absolutely dominant most of the season, Utah has dropped 2 out of their last 4 ball games, and they really haven't been all too impressive against the point spread either. They failed to cover the number in 4 out of their last 7. And 2 of their big scorers are also on the injury report. Mike Conley's been ruled out with a hammy. Jordan Clarkson is doubtful with an ankle. Now they're taking on a Washington team who actually won 2 out of their last 3 ball games, and they also went 3-1 against the number in their last 4. Now, it looks like Bradley Beal's pretty healthy here. He's scoring 30 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists for the shooting guard. Meanwhile, Russell Westbrook is averaging 21 a night himself, along with 10 rebounds and 10 assists. The Wizards are in the top 3 in the NBA in second quarter scoring. They also have a winning record against the spread in their 26 road games. Now, total-wise, Washington is 70% to the under in their last 10 ball games, 16-10 to the under away from home. Meanwhile, 5 out of Utah's last 8 stayed under the line themselves. Plus, with the absence of Conley and potentially Clarkson, that's a good amount of points the Jazz are leaving on the table. I'm going to lean toward the Washington Wizards plus 11.5, keeping this one close, in the under 235. Next ball game, it is going to be Kings versus the Pelicans, 9 p.m. Eastern start. The New Orleans Pelicans are -2.5, numbers 233. If you like the Kings in an upset on the road here, they're plus $1.20 for some money line cash. Now, Sacramento's been really bad lately. Losers of their last 6 straight, 2-6 against the spread in their last 8 as well. The Kings have also played quite poorly on the road. They've won just 10 of 26 road games, and they simply give up just entirely too many points. The Kings are allowing 119 points a game. Now, they're taking on a Pelicans team who they've actually won their last 2 straight, and one of those victories came against a great Philadelphia team. They actually held the Sixers to just 94 total points in that ball game. Now, the Pelicans have a winning home record thus far in the year, and they've also proven to be amongst the best rebounding teams in the entire association. The Pels lead the NBA in defensive rebounding, and they're also in the top 3 in offensive rebounding at home. Zion Williamson is scoring nearly 27 points a game, 7 rebounds, 3 assists for the forward. Meanwhile, Brandon Ingram is scoring 23 points a night himself, 5 rebounds, 4 assists for Ingram. Now, New Orleans certainly doesn't struggle to put up points on the board either. They're in the top 10 in scoring, and they also average over 116 points a game at the Smoothie King Center. Now, total-wise, 2 out of New Orleans' last 3 did get over the number, 5 and 2 to the over in their last 7. The Pels are also 21 and 7 to the over as the official home team. Meanwhile, Sacramento's gone 31 and 22 to the over for the entire NBA season. I'm going to lean toward New Orleans Pelicans -2.5 and the over 233. Next contest, it is going to be Bulls versus the Grizzlies, 9 o'clock Eastern start time. The Glizzies. Come on, man. The Grizzlies are -2.5, totals 230. But as bad as the Bulls have been playing over the past couple of days, we're still looking at a Memphis squad who lost their last 2 straight themselves. The Grizzlies are also being affected by some injuries as well. Porter, Winslow, and Melton, they're all questionable. And of course, Jackson is still out with a knee. Now, it's actually the Grizzlies' performances at home that's really been keeping these guys down this season. You know, they're like right on the cusp, and they just can't like bust through. And it's because of these home games. They've won just 12 of 27 at the FedEx Forum. They're in the bottom 5 in defending the 3-ball at home as well. They're actually letting their opponents hit nearly 40% of their 3-pointers on their home court. Now, they're taking on a Chicago team who's successfully covered the point spread in 5 out of their last 7 ball games, despite their 2-game skid. Chicago still proves to be one of the better covering ball clubs on the road as well. They're 18 and 8 against the spread when they travel, and that's good for nearly 70% in that particular category. Zach LaVine is scoring over 27.5 points per contest, 5 rebounds, 5 assists for the guard. Meanwhile, Nick Vucevic is scoring 22 a game with the Bulls himself, 9 rebounds, 3 assists for the big center. Now, Chicago is one of the best scoring teams on the road this year. They're in the top 10 in road scoring, and they're also in the top 3 in a road offensive field goal percentage. Now, total-wise, Chicago's last 3 straight all got over the line, 15 and 11 to the over away from home. Meanwhile, Memphis saw their last 4 straight get over the total themselves, 70% to the over in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward the Chicago Bulls +2.5 and the over 230. Next contest, it is going to be Rockets versus the Suns, 10 p.m. East. The Phoenix Suns are -12, totals 228.5. Now, Phoenix won 8 out of their last 9 ball games, 37 and 15 overall for this season. Phoenix finds themselves in second place in the Western Conference, and they're actually just 2.5 games behind the Jazz for first. They're right there. Phoenix does pretty much everything well. Offense, defense, playing at home. They're 20 and 8 straight up on their home court, and they currently lead the NBA in home offensive field goal percentage. The Suns are making 50% of their field goals at the Phoenix Arena. Now, Devin Booker is averaging 26 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4.5 assists for the guard. Meanwhile, Chris Paul's averaging 16 points a night himself, 4 rebounds, 8 assists for the multi-time All-Star. Phoenix is 19-9 against the spread as the official home team. Very good against the number on their home court. They also give up just 107 points a game on their home court as well. Now they're taking on a terrible Houston team who lost 7 out of their last 8, and they're also 25 games below 500 for the year. The Rockets are awful on the road, winning just 7 of 27 away games. The Rockets are also last in the NBA in shooting the 3-ball, bottom 3 in defensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, Houston's gone 31-22 to the under this season. They're also 60% to the under in their last 10 meetings with the Suns. I'm going to lean toward the Phoenix Suns minus 12 and the under 228.5. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Nuggets versus the Warriors, 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Now, the Denver Nuggets are minus 4.5, totals 226 flat. But despite a real nice stretch of games here recently, Denver might have to go to work here this evening without the efforts of Jamal Murray. He's currently battling a knee injury. The Nuggets also failed to cover the number in their last 2 straight. And they also rank in the bottom 10 in the league in third quarter points allowed on the road. Now they're taking on a Golden State Warriors squad who, believe it or not, they're one of the better performing teams at home in the Western Conference. They're 16-10 straight up at the Chase Center, top 10 in home scoring. Now Steph Curry is dropping nearly 30 points a game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists for the NBA champion. Meanwhile, Andrew Wiggins is scoring 18 points a night himself, 4 rebounds, 2 assists for Wiggins. And in addition to ranking in the top 10 in home 3-point shooting, the Warriors also play some fairly good defense at the Chase Center as well. Now, Golden State is currently in the top 10 in home defensive field goal percentage. And when it comes to the scoring in this one, Golden State is 14-12 to the under at home, 31-22 to the under overall for the year. Meanwhile, Denver is 7-3 to the under in their last 10 meetings with the Warriors, 5-4 to the under in their last 9 ball games this season as well. I'm going to lean toward the Golden State Warriors plus 4.5 and the under 226. And with that, guys, we're going to dive into our quick pick recap, powered to you by my Patreon website. I like the New York Knicks minus 2 over 205. Philadelphia minus 2.5 over 219. San Antonio Spurs minus 6.5 over 218. Minnesota plus 6 over 236. Washington Wizards plus 11.5 under 235. New Orleans minus 2.5 over 233. Chicago Bulls plus 2.5 over 230. Phoenix Suns minus 12 under 228.5. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 4-2 in our last 6 board member tier package picks on my Patreon website. We're also hitting at 63% in our last 16 $1.99 daily best plays on that Patreon page as well. I'm going to lean toward the Golden State Warriors plus 4.5 and the under 226. With that, guys, we're going to hop into some YouTube shout-outs to our top 10 YouTube commenters over the past couple of days or so. Shout out to Elite Gaming. Whose mans is this? Chris Brown. Shout out to B. Wright. Lyrical Travesty. Judah Arie. Shout out to my man Young Shard. Sandbox Mafia. Maddie Sissoko. And last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to my good friend, Jasmine Cologne. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you guys decide to get a package here today on Patreon, just keep in mind, we're going to bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do end up getting a package here today, you're going to get access to that content all the way through the end of April. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, happy Monday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.